everybody. Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Happy Mercury Day. Happy Mercury is going retrograde day. Let's just think about that for a second. Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. I just said it for the YouTube people, but I'll repeat it. Happy Wednesday. Happy Mercury Day. Happy Mercury is going retrograde tonight. Who wants to talk about it? Me. Hi, everybody. Hi, Lexi. Hi. Hi, cuties. All right. How are we feeling? Can we just talk about yesterday? The moon in Taurus kicked my ass yesterday. The moon in Taurus, I literally could not get up. I was moon in Taurus, like I just wanted to eat all day, which was beautiful. But like I couldn't like be vertical. I was on all these like Zoom calls and readings and client sessions. And my last one of the day was with a friend of mine. And I was like, can I just like lay on this call? And I was like propped up on the couch because the moon in Taurus usually goes for my morning walk and it like energizes me. Everything was so sleepy yesterday for me. So I just want to remind everyone that eclipses are intense energy pull. It's like we're getting pulled like a drain of energy, especially right now as we go into the solar eclipse at 0 degrees Cancer. We're literally going through like a 0 degree rebirth reset. And with that Taurus moon, it was like pulling us. I felt like I was on one of those gravitron, like those what are they called, like fair, like fireman's fair on Long Island is what we call them, but like a carnival ride, and I was being pulled down to the earth. So lots of sleep, lots of water, so important. And please, I'm going to do a post about it later, but no charging crystals during this time. I've talked about it a bunch, but we have the new moon that's coming up this weekend. We're going to be gathering with the Cosmic AF community. I'm literally just writing in my notes to post an old graphic that I have on that, but my teacher, Samuel Reynolds, he says, you can charge crystals during this time, but he goes, be my ill-advised guest to charge your crystals during this time, but he does not. It's eclipses are like banishing energy. Eclipses are like Kali Ma energy, cleansing out the old. So we don't want to charge crystals under them, especially if we work with them on our bodies, because you don't want to have like all year long or for the next few months an energy of a crystal like that's releasing something as you're trying to manifest something. It's just this is a great time to take time off from any kind of crystal magic you do and just more focus on like like my teacher says, let the goddess move through you. Let the goddess cleanse what they need to right now from your life. So that's what eclipses are about. And then just again, like we'll keep reminding us of that. Mercury retrograde happens tonight. So we're gonna have my cousin on a little bit and she's gonna pull a card for us and kind of see what the energy is, what do we need to tune into. But if you're on the East Coast, Mercury goes retrograde at about like right before midnight. So technically tomorrow morning. And it's gonna be a little bit of an abbreviated show today because I have to go to some meetings, but I just at least wanted to hop on and pull a card, talk about Mercury retrograde. And I did want to say that later this week we have a sick lineup of guests. We have Michelle from aka Ms. Creative AF. She runs the Between Us Girls podcast, and she has a creative strategy coaching consulting business where she specifically likes to work and help brands run by people of color, women of color, bring their message out in the world. So we're going to talk to her tomorrow. She's one of my like dear Instagram friends. We met a few years ago on Instagram. I actually did an episode of her podcast during this quarantine. She's so funny. She's great. And she has a lot of great tips on how to bring, like your brand out to the world. And like I said, she mostly specifically works with women of color, but this is obviously information, femme identifying people of color, but it's information that we all could know. And also she runs a podcast, which I know a lot of you have had questions about starting a podcast. So we're going to pick her brain. That's a bonus morning show episode tomorrow, Thursday. I normally do the Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but we figure, going into eclipse season, going into all these retrogrades, the more love, the better. And then Friday, I'm so excited. It's a special edition morning show, not just the morning show, but we have Chris with a K, Chris with a goddamn K, one of my personal cosmic bosses, and just a bright, bright light in the world. They wrote this book that you hear me reading from a lot, Love Letters. They channeled it. They are going to be just talking about everything. They are such a beautiful oracle and channel, so I can't really imagine what's going to come up in that conversation. But they are also hosting on July 7th, 7/7 at 7 p.m. Could that timing be any more perfect for a spiritual self-publishing class they are hosting that I am enrolled in? And this is a time that, like, if you want to get your voice out, your message out, your truth out, we want to understand the channels of doing it, right? Gemini season. So we're going to talk about podcasting, creative branding, that kind of consulting and coaching, creative strategy tomorrow. And then Friday, how to birth a book baby and how to bring that out in the world, and how to, what's the steps of that. And I think that I feel really called to do some self-publishing, and I feel really called that I just want to do it, independently. So I think Chris with a K is going to have some mega treats. They're also just like one of the funniest, most magical, most sacred, twerky humans I've ever met. So I'm very excited for that. So tune in 10 a.m. tomorrow and 10 a.m. Friday for a bonus. So let's think about, I'm just taking some notes here because my mind be all over the place with Mercury going retrograde tonight. How everyone, I'm going to make some videos. I just recorded some. I'm going to do some more on Mercury retrograde tips. And then of course for your sign, I did some reading, some horoscope, checked your chart with your theme for this Mercury retrograde. But I just want to tell everyone, slow down and be careful. I broke so many things yesterday. I just got this really cool new lamp that my partner got me for my desk, so I could at night have a better light situation for my Zooms. And it just smashed into a million pieces yesterday. And I don't even know. It's not even a normal light bulb. I can't replace it. And then I dropped something else. And then so my number one tip for Mercury retrograde is gonna be to not have water by your devices and just go slow through everything you do. It's just a time to go slow. It reminded me yesterday, I was I need to slow down. So I was okay, Mercury retrograde, it's Mercury is a trickster. Mercury is mischievous. And we have the sun is in a Mercury sign planet with Gemini. We have Venus is still in Gemini. We have this weird overlap where Venus and Mercury are both going to be retrograde, which is pretty rare. And that Gemini, it's that trickster energy. So if you're a clumsy person like me, you guys are also funny. I know, Maddie, if you're, we all just need to slow down a little bit. Make multiple trips to the car. Hold on to the banister when you're going down the stairs. Just be careful of what you're doing. Be mindful when you're walking around on your phone. Jessica dropped phone this morning, of course. I spilled juice all over lots of things. Hi, Afro Yoga. I saw you requested to be in the video. I'm guessing that's an accident, but Afro Yoga, if you want to come on and talk about anything, I feel like we need some more yogic balance in our life for these next few weeks. Just being mindful. Retrograde is mind energy, absolutely. Mindy energy. I thought you said mind, wild with a T. I'm yes, is Mindy energy. Retrograde, Mercury wants us to slow down. Mercury is the fastest moving planet, only second to the luminary of the moon. And that and also the moon is going to be conjunct Mercury this weekend, and the sun with this new moon in Cancer with Mercury in Cancer. So everything's just gonna feel a little cloudy and foggy and unclear, especially through the weekend. So I just want us to, I just want to just slow down a little bit. Also, Mercury in Cancer is going to be, that's the sign this retrograde is going to be in. We want to look out for, like, Mercury in Cancer is really non-verbal communicator. So taking time to communicate in non-verbal ways, moving our body, maybe Afro yoga will come on and teach us some body movements. I'll DM you after this. And then we have like painting, writing. You stepped on an earring just now. Oh my god. Yeah. So let's get you on. I'm gonna DM you after this. Let's get you on the show. Maybe like next Monday or Wednesday or one day, any day next week. What is time? So slowing down, trusting our nonverbal communication, and I'm gonna point out Mercury in Cancer. Wires can get crossed with communication. And the shadow energy of Mercury in Cancer is being really defensive. It's that shell energy of Cancer, right? Like we retreat into our shell, and Mercury in Cancer can be more passive aggressive because the shell is like a crab. Crabs move side to side instead of going like direct facing on. So we want to be mindful of just like being passive aggressive, LOL. And we want to be mindful of like just, yeah, like being overly defensive with people. Hi Lavender Seas on YouTube. Are you taking questions? Sure, let's do it. Sometimes I need to like understand how to read the comments on YouTube better. Yeah, so tell me your questions. Oh, Chris with a K is on YouTube and Instagram. Yes. So this is my Mercury. Yes. So Chris with a K is gonna come on Friday and teach us the power of Mercury in Cancer, because they are like a channel. They flow. Mercury in Cancer is connected to the unseen realm. So we're going to connect into that, and it's a great time to channel, make some artwork, like step into that more flow space of communication. But like I said, look out for being defensive. Hi. I'm like, everyone, we're gonna be really defensive. I just feel like I need to keep saying it.
Wait, I believe you say it again.
Mercury in Cancer retrograde.
Oh.
It's just like
is that what's going on?
Yeah, like starting tonight. We're in the shadow of it. I can hear you. Can you not hear me?
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, you just dropped. I think my cell phone's a little weird.
Hi. Congratulations.
Yeah, tell me more about that, because we're just talking about. Everybody's like, I mean, I think everyone needs to just like chill out a little bit.
So I'm going to elaborate on that from the astro point of view. It's like we all need to take a step back for a few weeks. Like this Mercury Cancer retrograde for the next 4 weeks, and the eclipse season that we're in through July 5th, everything is not about like pushing out. It's like going within, processing, slowing down. Like we're gonna have, like, as of tonight, we're gonna have like 6 planets retrograde, and we're in eclipses. Like this is not forward. This is like we're all doing something underwater and mud, and it's just like we could not be getting a bigger signal from the universe just to slow down. Like so it's like anything you do, like you say anything online, say anything that's like trying to be the normal projecting linear forward motion, is just gonna feel like not good right now. So Mercury in Cancer, taking care of ourselves, our home, our bodies, like tuning in to that inward, that soft part of that crab shell, like the inner energy. And like also, like I literally feel like the spirit is like, take care of your home and yourself before you're trying to like take care of the world right now.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
we went out last night to see some friends for Aslan's graduation, and I had this interaction with someone, and it took me like
Really?
I was like, where'd that come from? And it's so unusual. And I was thinking, it's like, we all have forgotten how to be out in the world. And we all have this sense of like,
Yes.
like, this has been really hard for me.
Right.
But it looks like it's been great for you. And it's like a little bit like, whoa. Like, nobody has any idea what this has been like for anybody else. Like, not even, we just have like the hint, like the tiniest hints of what it may have been like for you, right? But
From
mostly,
like one Instagram post.
Like, tiny for 4 months.
Like, you have not been in my house for 4 months. My brain.
No idea. You didn't clean up the garbage from the raccoons yesterday. You don't know. Like, whatever the thing is, right? That's a joke that you will get. And I was thinking about it, and my first reaction was like, I felt very triggered by it. And then I was like, well, just sit with it. Why is it upsetting you so much? Normally that would just roll right. You wouldn't even like pick up on that. And I was like, because my skin is a baby skin too, right? Like we all have this like baby skin right now, you know, like we all are just emerging with this new snake skin or this soft crab without the shell or like whatever the analogy is. And it's like, so to be so tender with yourself, but then also, if you can, be so tender with everybody else, because we're all kind of like emerging from this thing that none of us asked for, none of us understand yet, and none of us are really even processed. And we're trying to like, and our nervous systems have had all kinds of expansion and twerking and reworking. And it's like, okay, well, let's just, when we step out into the world, let's like be really tender about it, you know? And then, so it's interesting because I turned you on and you're like, people are going to be passive aggressive and whatever the thing was. And I was like, yeah, that's a thing that's happening.
I just went into the outside world for one night. I can attest that is what's happening.
And I was like, I want to go back inside.
Yeah, we're all like, why are we all rushing in? I'm like, I need to get back in the shell. How do I get back in the shell? But it's so true. That's such a good way of putting it. You know, Mercury in Cancer is so much about like nourishing, nurturing ourselves, others, and just being so gentle. Because the second that we get too like, it's not the direct communication. It's not blunt communication time. It's like, because like, I think, you know, the universe is loving and wise and knew that we were going to be coming out of this. Like, we haven't interacted with humans interpersonally, and everyone went on a journey for the past 4 months, spiritually, socially, politically, financially, emotionally, physically, like every kind of journey and transformation you could go through, we all went through it. And again, we didn't sign up for it necessarily, consciously at least. Consciously. So we're just over here like, I can only imagine going out in the world and having someone just be like, well, your quarantine looked great. And it's like, what? Like, and like, just even I went out for one thing this weekend. Again, they had live music outside and I just felt so awkward. I already feel an awkward human. Everything I was doing, I was like, am I offending someone right now? Like I was like,
oh, totally. Oh my God.
Yeah, so like,
right, on a good day, I had to like prepare myself for social interaction. And then you put all this in, you send me out with a mask into the world, and I'm like it's very tender. That's all
we're all very tender, and this is part of the healing, and we need to like, you know, what's going on, the quarantine, and then what's going on with like our Black Lives Matter movement, and everyone and the planet just like going through this like deep shock awakening. And it's like, okay, well now Mercury and Cancer is coming into like, let's soothe, let's like remother ourselves a little bit, let's come back to like security and home and like this nonverbal, like this is like, we're just the Gemini, everything is like talk, and then Mercury comes in the sign of Cancer, which is like, you will not find the words, you will stumble over them if you try. So just see what you can do, how you communicate and process without words, which is so funny to think about for us right now.
Totally. And also recognize, like actually use the things, like I have to like remind myself not to take it personally. Right, like to not take people's stuff personally, because even like the looks people are giving you, or they're wearing a mask or not wearing a mask, or they're 5 feet or 10 feet, and it's like you can put so many we're so good at narrating the experience of why this is happening, and to be narrated this whole story about what every gesture and every movement and every do or don't means. And chances are it has nothing to do with us. Like, chances are it's someone like trying to manage their own thing, and if they're making it about us, that's their own avoidance of their thing. So like in any way, shape, or form, it's not personal. And so for that to be like a mantra over this season, like because if it does hit you, instead of worrying about what it means for that relationship, it's like, well, what does that mean for me? Like if it's getting me so wound up, if that story means so much to me, then what's in there? What treasure is buried in there, you know?
What treasure is buried in there, which is a great Mercury and Cancer question. It's like, we're all in an ocean of emotion and communication, and that's that Cancer energy. And like, so while we're there, let's just dig around, like in the sand. What seashells are we finding? What's coming up in this for me? I think about that card that you and I pulled a few months ago, that card from the liminal space deck. It's just like, it's not about you. We pulled that for something. Right when you started talking, I just saw that card. Like, it's not about you. And we want things to be about us sometimes because it's just like fun and it feeds a part of our ego. We're like, oh yeah, maybe they're just going through something that's not about me, and I should use this chance to like see what this is telling me about just me, myself, and I. Oh my God, so good. So did you pull a card this morning, or what came up? What do we need to know?
I did. I pulled the sacrifice, and I was just pulling a card while you and I were talking. So I was like, let's just see. And you don't want to know that I pulled the Tower. So I was like, well, let's just, maybe we should, I should pretend I didn't do that. But
I do want to comment on that after, because that is actually like the astrology we're heading into is like another Tower moment over these next few weeks. So
yeah. So I pulled. So this is the lovely duo that I pulled this morning: the Sacrifice to the Tower. Hello.
Aren't you guys happy?
Because you haven't experienced enough shock, and you haven't sacrificed enough over the past since 2020 began. Let's be clear.
Aren't you all happy you tuned in?
I love because I really love that card because it does what it does is it points you in the direction of what is the thing that is so precious. Like what is the thing that I have to grip and hold on to and save, you know, despite every sign not to, right? So like this idea of clutching, and what comes up right away is our ego. Right, like that comes up right away because that's that whole thing. It's all about me and how can I look good in this, and how can I, you know, make sure fear's running the show, and all the ways that ego is like so insidious. And every time we open our hands, like every time we let something go, every time we're willing to put something on the altar, it's like there's a transformation that happens just from that intention. That is always a liberation. Like you're never losing something by that. But our ego says to us, you will lose everything if you let this thing go. You will lose everything if you open your hands and you allow this to be seen or known or even like felt by the world, right? So I actually love the energy of, because even yesterday, that interaction I was talking about, like it hit me so hard. It felt like a stone to the heart, right? And my reaction was like, I just clamped down immediately, and I was like, I just want to go home. I just want to go home, you know, like that was the feeling. And then I was like, okay, but then you are gonna have to go out in the world again, Kirsten. so like, it's okay that it hurt you. And actually, how do you want to live your life? Do you want to live your life where someone hurts you and you just clamp down, or do you want to live your life where someone hurts you and you say that actually really hurt me, and you don't have to fix it, and it doesn't have to be your fault, but I'm just going to be true to what's happening. We talked about, I was in a virtual workshop all weekend, and this idea of like the truth of your heart, expressing that is always gift. You know, if it's not attached to a thought, not attached to a story, not attached to an outcome, not attached to a habit or a reason, just like this is what's true in my heart. It's indisputable and it's energetically pure. There's like a song to it, right? So like if you can just allow yourself to, even in your own space, like this is what's true for me, and I don't have to iron grip it to keep it. Like it's just my truth, and I'm gonna like be okay with it kind of having its own movement and trusting the divine with it and all of that. So that feels really good to me.
That's beautiful.
And I think it's like a great life experience for like, I'm gonna sit with this today and like really like get some real to get like a real sense value of what is the thing that's so precious to me that I can't that I wouldn't put it on the altar, that I'd be afraid to put it on the altar, right? And then the Tower, yeah, someone said Mars energy. And we're just in this time of deconstruction. Like, that's just what's happening. And we can see it out in the world so clearly, and we can get really caught up in how it's happening out in the world. But it's also, Griffin I gave him unlimited screen time today on the first day I said he could do whatever he wants for his first day of summer vacation. He's not released his iPad. Eventually he'll get forced. Whatever. Side note. So this idea that like things are crumbling around, like deconstructing around us, not even crumbling, but really deconstructing in just the right way. I mean, in really necessary ways. Where we're resisting that is the interior personal deconstruction that's being asked of all of us, right? Yeah. And I think, my opinion on this is that like if you're not going to allow the personal deconstruction, the world's deconstruction will be limited. Like there's a way in which we're all being called to deconstruct and really see, like you said, like sift through the sand and see what are we taking with us and what needs to be washed away.
Yeah.
And the first place to look is the place you're gripping, right? Because if you're gripping it, there's not love, that's fear. Simple, like not simple to do, not simple to experience, but the simple answer is if I have to grip it, there's not a lot of love there. That fear is the dominant feeling there. So that's my Cheerful Wednesday.
That's our Cheerful Wednesday, everyone. You're welcome. And then I'm just gonna jump off of what you just said and pile on a little bit. Just like the astrology that we have coming up is it continues to be Tower. I mean, I just wrote this eclipse season like mini guide PDF. If anyone buys our Gemini magazine, which all the proceeds are going to a fund, and the PDF comes with it. I just had to write the PDF because I was like, my head is spinning around eclipse season. And it's like this solar eclipse that's called a Ring of Fire eclipse, in case we didn't need more like intense energy right now. I swear astrology is being so dramatic right now. I just can't. Every time I go sit down to like go deeper into it, I'm like, could you be more dramatic? Like,
I've never heard that. A Ring of
Fire. It's like 0 degrees, perfect 0 degree solar eclipse in Cancer. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then it's like a Ring of Fire eclipse. I'm like, cool. And then like we have these 3 eclipse seasons, like not like 2 we normally have. We have this like bonus eclipse that I was like, what? That happens? Like it's and then so July 5th is like the last of the Capricorn eclipses that's been going on for the past 3 years. And I just wrote like the thing that came through when I read that was like, it all falls down. Like that's like literally what I wrote in the book. Cause I was like the PDF, cause like it feels like the last, like we've been shaking things, and that's the last, like watching the House of Cards, and just like the last breath, the last shape. It's like, and then we have this wild conjunction my teacher taught me about called like not conjunction, aspect, Eris square Pluto. And Pluto, we know, is having a lot of fun this year with like Pluto, Saturn, the lord of the underworld coming to break everything up. Very Tower energy is square this asteroid Eris, who's the like angry goddess who just like wants, like, who says to us like grow or die, like evolve or be extinct. And I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, she's like square in Pluto. And this week we get like the last time that happened was in the winter, right around the impeachment and when Kobe Bryant was like died. Like, so it was like this big, like this other big like something, a shock wave. And so that's happening later this week, like into the weekend.
Late January.
So
that
like
was late January, right?
It was January. It feels like a bajillion years ago. Like there was an impeachment this year too. Can we just talk about that? Like I completely forgot about that until I was reading about like what was happening in January. So the Tower card is bang on. The Tower card, but again, it's all for our evolution, like the under releasing, but we have to, this inner work you're talking about, like this outer work is going to be all for naught if we go back and to rebuild the world with our same old stuff, our old fears, our ancestral stuff, our trauma, our triggers, like all the stories we attach to things. which is why I think so much of the future feels really cloaked to us right now. Because we're not going back the way we came, at all. So it requires us to do such inner work.
No, that's what someone said at dinner last night too. They go, well, once we have the vaccine and everything goes back to normal. And I was like, that's not a thing. I don't want to burst everyone's bubble, but we're not going back where we were. This train has left the station. We're on the way.
All aboard.
So yeah. There's something I was going to tell you. Oh, so this weekend, one of the things that we were working on was this idea of receptive energy, feminine energy, leaning back into your energetic back body, the falling back into your back body. And I think that what you're talking about, there's a way in which we're being asked to receive this deconstruction and receive this transformation. And you and I have talked about this, right? But there's a way in which the move forward is a trauma response. Is that's that toxic masculine culture of I have to fix this, I have to do something, I have to get on top of these eclipses, or I have to prepare whatever the thing is, right? And so, and I had this experience of it in my body in a new way. I understand the energetic lean back, but if you're thinking about the nervous system in the center column, I had this idea of actually what is it like to invite the world to penetrate you, to invite the world to lead you in a deeply settled energetic way. And there's something about it that feels really good. And I don't have the intellectual capacity to explain it, but I can feel the truth in my body of this idea of when this is all happening, if you can somehow find the breath to lean back energetically and invite the world to co-create with you, invite the world to these energies to move with you, to like surfing, right? If you can allow yourself to kind of catch the wave and surf with it. Not even surfing's too active, boogie boarding, right? Just get on the board and on your belly and let the wave carry you, right? Something like that, right? So, but just this idea of our instincts in times of change and times of deconstruction is this leaning in. And I just think again and again, if you can remind yourself just to lean back even a little bit, just to put yourself in your energetic back body, the back of your heart, just a little bit, feel your backbone just a little bit, and trust it to be something you can lean on. If nothing else, you can lean on your spine, right? You can lean on your backbone. So that's also kind of up with all of this.
Up for all of this. I know. I'm sorry, guys, that we're being we're harbingers of it's not over. We're not going back to normal. And you can rely on yourself. In this way of but these are the truths of the moment. And Ryder, I am laughing because I will say the astrology for 2021 looks like we might have aliens too, or some kind of interdimensional being. And the memes going around, I'm it's kind of funny, but I'm also we have all these Aquarius planets, so I don't know what's gonna happen. But whatever it will be, I think we're really going through this reset to I keep thinking about our nervous systems and how much trauma we carry there, how much intergenerational stuff, how much just of our own. And there's a reason why we've been this training ground of being home and where we can reset that. And there's someone I follow, Wolf Medicine and Magic, and she does they do breath work 1 day a week. You can follow them; it's for free. You can, shoot them a Venmo if you want. But I've been just tuning in and doing it, and in a very funny, not even sacred way. Sometimes I do breath work. I'm let me light some candles, and I'm I literally need to do this in my schedule of okay, I'm gonna put the computer down for a few minutes, step away from technology, and just I feel my, how people say working on your summer bod. I'm working on my central nervous system for the revolution. I'm just trying to clear my central nervous system from I just don't want to go into whatever this next chapter brings, this new world we're dreaming in, whatever it looks like, socially, politically, spiritually, the aliens, interdimensional beings, whoever's coming to the party. I just want to be in that lean back space of cool, I got this, we got this, and I just want to have that clarity. So I know you practice breath work. Breath work keeps coming up for me of that and the movement and just being in nature. It's
so powerful.
Keep doing that right now, everyone.
Yeah, but also Maddie, since we're on this tower discussion today, the choice is to lean back or be dragged a little bit. You are gonna have to clear the stuff. The universe is saying it's time to clear the stuff.
Right.
So any step you take to embrace that, to like dance with that, it's just going to make the ride easier and maybe even enjoyable. Like I would argue that there's pleasure to be found in being led, right?
Absolutely.
And so, and like partially, like, so even though we're saying like rely on yourself, focus on yourself, you are a part of this universe that I believe is benign and benevolent. Like I believe that the world is carrying us forward. I like this feeling of like being on a wave in the ocean feels really right. This is not like mayhem, you know, we're being carried through something. And so that question of faith becomes really important, you know, faith and okay, well, when possible, I'm going to breathe and let it feel good. Let it feel good that I'm out of control. Let it feel good that I don't have all the answers.
It's like, so let it feel good that I'm not the one in charge. Grip. Like, have you ever gripped onto something for so long and you're done and you're like, I'm tired, like I'm shaking from, if you've ever been on something, a bumpy ride of some sort, like I'm picturing like a boat or something, and you're like, my body is exhausted from gripping on. Even if you've been outside and it's cold and you're shivering so hard, and you come back in and you're like, I'm just tired from like gripping. I think that, and I also want to point out, I wrote in the Eclipse Season book, the universe is loving and wise, and we are having the clear messages to do this. And I was listening to this woman speak this weekend, and she talked about some ancient philosophers, and they're like, we don't know what comes first, like, but the study of the moon and the planets and the cycles and the study of the earth is instantly rewarded, because you're turning your face and remembering that you're held by something so big and so divine, and that all exists within you. So the moment you do that work, you're instantly rewarded. And like going off of like, I had written something earlier before I read that or heard that was just like, your universe is a manifestation, like it's just a magnification of what you're feeling. So when we go into eclipses, like we feel really stressful and fearful and frustrated and angry and like why me and victimization energy, that is what's gonna be magnified through an eclipse, especially. But we go through and it's like, all right, like my teacher said, ask the goddess what needs to go. I trust it. Like, okay, like, and just like let it feel good. Oh, let's clean this out. This feels amazing. This breath of fresh air, this ocean wave of new energy. So I just want to invite everyone to think about that. It just all goes down to your intention, truly.
Yeah, and like back to Gay Hendricks, because we have to bring him up.
We cannot not. We didn't bring him up last week, and I think he was sad.
Okay, it was like hashtag where am I? So this idea, but this idea of when it does feel good, if you're doing breath work, if you're walking through nature, if you're with a friend and you're laughing, like whatever the thing is. Like yesterday when I asked you guys for some praise, like some love, I needed it like to kind of fill my bucket, and I was thinking like. And I'm listening to you say something kind to me, and I'm already like going to the next thing. And I had to like remind myself, no, like this feels good. This is like a woman you love, who loves you, who's with you, and she's saying, I got you. Let that feel good, Kirsten, and just stay in it 5 more seconds, 10 more seconds, 1 more minute. Like these are the seconds of your life. Like as many seconds of that life that you can spend enjoying it, feeling good, feeling like held and loved. Talk about something to grab onto, like let that be okay. Like let that be true for you, and don't get in your own way with it. Like be like, oh, I'm gonna stay with this. I'm gonna let this expand out just a few more seconds, and that's a few more seconds that I got to live in that energy. And then so I just think there's this idea that that it is scary to let it feel good, but it also doesn't need to be this like impossible task. Like, yeah, there's gonna be moments where you're afraid and you're irritated, but there's also gonna be moments where you're like, wow, the world is taking us somewhere. I'm gonna breathe into that.
Yes.
Oh, and just be like, okay, the world's taking me somewhere.
Yes.
I can just like drop my shoulders for a second. I can just breathe for a second. I can lean back, and I can be like, all right, I'll be with you another minute. I'll be with you 10 more minutes. I'll be with you for this morning, and then if I get scared again, I can be there too. Like, but it's just this, like Gay says, like just to expand, to not cut that flow immediately, like to recognize when you do that and stop it.
And stop it, and then just don't do that. Good old Gay Hendricks. Honestly, like we gotta he's still alive? I don't know. I gotta reach out to him, because I'm like, we literally talk about you all the time. Now I have some of my clients are reading it, and they're like, just like Gay says. I'm like, I know, like, thank you for just being alive in a time where, like, we have a book, like, The Big Leap. Everyone who we keep referencing it, that's what this book is. And it's just, like, so simple, but so life-changing.
Totally.
That's
Okay.
beautiful. All right, well, I think we're gonna leave it there because I feel like we have the tower, let this just be like the pleasure of the tower. The pleasure of the tower. Like,
Yeah.
it's so
That's
good.
the quote I always quote with the tower is it's from Peter Pan. She says, you know, what if I fall? And he says, oh, but darling, what if you fly?
Yeah.
And that's the energy you want to keep with you with the tower. Like, yeah, you could fall. You're probably going to trip and stumble a little bit. You're also going to be carried on this wind of transformation that could feel like flying. And it could launch you to places you could never go on your own. It's a bolt of kundalini. It's a bolt of life force. Like, for the prepared nervous system, it's a gift. I mean, it's an elevation and a like electrification, you know? It don't be afraid.
Yeah.
That's that.
Energy, electrification. I love it. All right, everyone. Speaking of energy, electricity, keep your liquids away from your devices. Mercury retrograde is like spilling stuff on your computer energy too. So just a really practical note. I love you.
I love you.
Okay, I'll talk to you soon, Mama.
I'll see you later. Okay, bye.
Bye. Bye, everyone. Thank you. Bye. Bye, everyone. Are we still here? Oh, okay, good. Oh, hi, Gabby. Okay, yeah. No screen, please. Oh, Kaylee, trying to close on a house this month. We will definitely pray for you. Let me know if you are, if you watch the videos. I'm going to do some things about Mercury retrograde and our new moon intentions for your sign. So maybe there's some good stuff in there for you. Hi, Chris. Oh, Lavender sees I missed your question and Nav. Okay. Yeah, so if you guys didn't get to ask a question or you want to, come on tomorrow morning, Thursday, 10 a.m. I'll be on here and I have about 15 minutes before my guest comes on. So I'll definitely try and answer your questions then. Okay, so bye everyone. Thank you for tuning in.